Now if you check on the hair, this is before and this is after. So it does a really good job, I can accept that, but it's still not the best. So on some parts, for example here on the arm, I need to make my own changes with drawing on the mask with white or black, like this. So the parts that I would like to refine are mainly on the arm, and these problems are mainly because this is not a good quality photograph. So if you have a better quality photograph, you can make better results with the refine mask. By the way, you can also use the pen tool if you want to make a nice edge here on the arm. You can use the pen tool with path drawing mode and create an arc, a curve on the arm. I will put another anchor point here. I make a curve and then I continue making this curve and end up somewhere there. Then I will close this path and right click and choose make selection and press OK. Then I have this selection, and what I need to do now is to use my black brush and simply draw over this area. Then invert the selection, go to select, inverse, and use my white brush and draw on this side. Now, if you look at before and after, if I deselect this selection, you see we have a really nice edge there, thanks to the pen tool. And you can apply this wherever you have these curved shapes. So just once again, to see how it works, I use my pen tool again. I will follow this line like this. Quickly draw with my pen tool. Create a closed shape. Right click, make selection, press enter, and use my black color on the edge. Then invert the selection, which is Control Shift or Command Shift I, and then use white on this part of my selection. Again, I have a much better result now. I have a better selection, but still on the hair I would like to make a better job, and for that I will now create a special brush especially for drawing hair. I will make a new layer and fill that layer with white, and then with my brush I will draw small dots close to each other. And then use my rectangular marquee tool to select it. And go to the edit menu and choose define brush preset option. This will save this brush. I just simply click OK and delete this layer because I don't need it. But now from my brushes I can select that new brush. This is the one that I just saved, and you can see I already have this special custom brush, but I need to go my brush panel and set the brush tip shape options. The most important one is to move the spacing to the left, to set it to 1% to have this continuous flow, and also make sure that I have shape dynamics. And I will make this brush smaller a bit, something like this, and save this as a preset. So with the new values and with the 1% spacing option, I will save this as a new brush by clicking on the panel options and choose new brush preset. Now I will name this hair, and that is my hair brush, and that is what I'm going to use on the edges. I will create a new layer. I can call that layer hair. I will sample color from the image, from the hair, zoom a little bit closer, and I just simply start drawing with this tool. I first show you here on the left how it works. So it makes a really nice hair detail, and this is what I want to refine my edge. Sometimes it's better to refine the edge with a brush than trying to make selections. I will draw over this part as well here. And of course this part, because here we see the original background colors, what I don't want to see, so I draw over that part. I make sure that I hide all those details. I will use brighter colors as well from the hair, and I just add these on top of each other. And I also need to make changes here, so I will just sample colors from the hair, and I just simply extend the hair on this part of the image instead of making a selection. It's just a much faster way to do it if you have a brush like this, and then you can use it around the edges. Okay, so we can check now before and after. I turn off and then on the hair layer. You can see this is before and that is after. Much better. We can get rid of this part also on another layer. I will create another layer, and I will call this retouch. And I will use the same tool, the mixer brush tool, and just simply draw over these parts from the surrounding skin detail. So I don't even need to clone. I just simply use the tones of the image and draw with them over these parts. I make sure that I also use shadows, and I can apply the same technique on the dress to get rid of the hair detail from the dress, like this. And I go back to my mask and I use the pen tool technique here again. I will just simply draw over this part with my pen tool and close my selection. I make the selection and I use my brush, but I need to switch back to my normal brush, not the custom brush, and I will use black here in the selection, like this. I also delete from the retouch layer this part because I don't need it. I go back to the soft skin layer, I invert my selection and I invert the color of my brush, and I use white on the mask to draw over this part.